Hello, friends of the IDF, and welcome back to FIDF Live. I'm Lara Krinsky. Ding, 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 ding. If your phone is anything like mine, your social media feeds and cable news alerts are going off nonstop, making it very clear that the media battle is raging right alongside the military one, which is why we're so grateful to be joined today by Major Liad of the IDF Spokesperson's Unit, the team responsible for communicating the reality of this war to the world, while Israel fights on multiple fronts. In a conflict where the battle includes not only air, land, and sea, but also the global narrative, his role has never been more critical. Behind every headline are the soldiers carrying out these missions, and I know we're all swelling with pride and pinching ourselves watching these events unfold. Major Liad has the responsibility of ensuring the truth of the life-saving, freedom-granting, and freedom-preserving work they're doing reaches the world. So thank you for being with us, Major Liad. I know you've been busy.
Thank you very much for having me again. And shalom and good afternoon from Tel Aviv.
Easy yofi, easy yofi. You know, I wanted to just kick off by noting that we happen to be meeting on International Women's Day. Today is International Women's Day. Happy Women's Day, everybody. And something that's given us so much nachas, so much pride, are the reports that more than 30 Israeli female pilots and combat navigators have participated in these strikes against Iran. What can you tell us about these women and what their participation represents about the IDF?
So besides women at the Air Force that are either in the planes or on the ground, arming and taking care of the aircraft, we also have women in the Navy that are overlooking in the sea, that are protecting the skies from there as well with the Navy ships. And actually we have women here with me, right beside me, and all over the IDF. We see women at key roles, either taking care of other people, but also making sure that Israel stays safe.
Amazing. We are so proud of Israel and the IDF and to have this, showcased on the global stage. It's really just it makes us also so proud. Another thing that's come out that we're so proud of, we're really surprised also, was to learn that Major General Tomer Bar, the head of the Israeli Air Force, personally participated in some of these operations alongside his pilots. Can you share with us the concept of Acharai and what it tells us about the culture and the leadership of the IDF?
One of our key values is commanders have to be in front. They are the leaders of the way. They're the ones to pave the way for the rest of the soldiers. And this is what is called also a personal example. We believe that commanding has to come out of personal example. I cannot be a good commander if I don't give an example to my soldiers and if I'm not doing what they're doing. In order for me to be a better commander, I have to showcase myself and I have to bring my example, my personal example to the soldier. And that is something that is so key and important, especially in military, in the IDF, but also, by the way, in private life as well. Whatever we do, and we are the ones to go forward, and we're the ones to show everybody else that it is possible, even though it's difficult and it's hard. And yes, it's also dangerous, but we're the ones to lead the way, pave the way for others to perform. And that is why you've seen General Baal flying with his pilots into unbelievable missions.
Truly, and you're right. Like what Israel is doing is as though they are the commander, and they're showing the world like this is how you stand up for what's right. So it's leading by example every day. I wanted to now turn to the operational picture inside Iran. Israel has been targeting what are being called these missile cities, these vast underground networks that are storing and launching ballistic missiles. How significant are these targets in the broader strategy of degrading Iran's military capabilities?
So in order for us to make sure that Israel stays safe, and of course to hit the whole plan of the ballistic missile program, you also need to get into the components. There are different components that make the ballistic missiles. It's not just a missile, but you have different components such as factories. And this is actually the missile cities that you just mentioned. These are different factories that they're the ones to fix, build, create, and stockpile new or more ballistic missiles. So that's why it is very important and key for us to continue degrading and hitting and striking the different factories that they have, because that is a very, very important link in the chain of production for these ballistic missiles. And just to add, we're now beyond the 300 launchers that we have hit, which is another key component, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a launcher, your missile is worth nothing. So that's why it's still very important for us to hit those launchers as well, together with the other components. And that's how you degrade and destroy the different chains in the link of the ballistic missile program.
Wow. Yeah, makes sense. And I know they're like having to hit multiple times in order to get down there since they are so buried under the ground.
Absolutely. We've seen what we have done with the secret bunker that Khamenei was supposed to go and operate from there. And that was buried very, very deep into the ground, right in civilian neighborhoods. And this is just, to show again the cynical use of the population in Iran. The IRGC are continuing to use them as human shields, are continuing to use or hide all kinds of their weapons and infrastructure, the terror infrastructure that they have within the civilian community, which is just still unbelievable to me. But we are precisely getting to it. We are striking in. And of course, this is all together with our U.S. counterparts.
Absolutely. One of the key aims is also beyond the missile and degrading their missile capabilities. It's also been, of course, to eliminate their nuclear program or their nuclear capabilities. One of the things that seems to have come out over the last few days is satellite imagery that's showing how there's been ground movement around the Isfahan facility that would suggest that they're trying to recover or relocate uranium that was there. How closely is Israel tracking those kinds of movements, and what risks does it pose if that's not dealt with?
First of all, as you probably know, we are pretty much controlling the skies above Iran.
Yes.
Not in 100%. It's not a field trip. This is not it's not a commercial airline just flying over Iran on a way to vacation. Absolutely not. There's still a lot of risks. It's still very dangerous. But we mostly control, together with the U.S. counterparts, we dominate pretty much the sky. And with that, we are monitoring very closely the different components of the nuclear program. And that's one of the goals of this mission, of this operation, was to go after the nuclear program, because we have seen that they tried to rebuild and fix the different locations that we have attacked back in the 12-day war. So those were one of the key strategic locations that we went after pretty much at the beginning of this campaign. We're at day 9 of this campaign. It's unbelievable. 9 days, and just see what we have done together with the U.S. And this is just another amazing way to show what happens when you bring the two of the best air forces in the world, the U.S. Air Force, the Israeli Air Force, working together, wing to wing. This is the achievements that we have brought, and we're not done yet. There's still ways to go. We're just in the midst of this.
Absolutely. I mean, as we're all looking at the way that reality, the whole landscape could be different, it is already different. In just a few days, it's already different. It'll never be the same. It's already changed, which is so thrilling. But one of the other ways that it could change is as a result of the strikes on Iran's economic infrastructure. So recently, we've seen, the United States and Israel go after Iran's oil refineries and depots and tankers. Can you share with us why targeting the regime's economic engine is an important part of the strategy, and what kind of power dynamics can shift as a result?
First of all, the striking of the energy component, the energy infrastructures, mostly it's the gasoline, uh, structures that are mostly used by IRGC. And this is something very important. This gasoline goes for the unmanned aerial aircrafts that they're using against us. It goes for the ballistic missile program. It goes for their vehicles that are moving components from one way to. So it's very important to strike those energy infrastructures, especially the gasoline, because this is something that once you take out, you degrade them even more. And that is very key to do that, because again, once you hit that distribution center and they cannot get gasoline out, then you're hitting the entire program, ballistic, nuclear, and et cetera, and et cetera. So that's why it is very important for us to continue and to strike those energy components as well.
Gotcha. And these are things that can't easily be rebuilt, right? Like when you strike some of these things, this is more, when we think, are we going to have to do this again in 5 years, in 10 years? Like these are things that are not so easily rebuilt. Is that right?
So hopefully we will not have to go back in another year or 2 years or 3 years. I really hope so. I really hope that what we're doing right now will bring to a very great change for Iran. But we are eliminating all the imminent threats that we had upon us, and we're continuing at it. We're continuing to monitor each and every component that we strike, and we're continuing to do so in order to make sure that they do not try to rebuild or fix during this campaign. Look, the IRGC, the entire terror regime was struck very very badly. There is somewhat of a power vacuum between or inside Iran itself, and we're continuing on doing this in order to make sure that the region is back to being stable without these imminent threat, not against us and not against the entire region, Middle East, and the world.
Toward that end, and we spoke about it a moment before we started rolling here, that what we're seeing is really, it's extraordinary. I mean, this is out of an action film. It's like the greatest Netflix, where the heroes are winning and saving the free world. This is really just so epic. I mean, there's a reason why, the US chose Epic Fury. I mean, this is truly epic. But I wanted to ask you, do you think that the regime right now that's been so infiltrated, I mean, they understand how deep Israeli intelligence was at this point. Do you think that the regime is more afraid right now of Israeli intelligence or its air power?
So we don't use the word afraid or fear. I don't think it's in militarily wise, it's not a word I would use. But I think that they understand that they're very vulnerable, and not just because of Israelis, but also for the American counterparts that we have, the amazing work that we're doing in collaboration with CENTCOM and U.S. Armed Forces as well. And when you bring these two components together, you bring these two groups, two of the best militaries in the world today, a superpower, the United States, with the Israeli pilots and other groups from the military, you have something this is a force that would be very difficult for anyone to stand in front of. And I think that is the most amazing thing about this campaign, this operation, is jointly working together, collaborating together in order to bring forward change for the region and again, for the world, because we've seen that Iran has been firing ballistic missiles, not just towards Israel, but pretty much the entire area. If it's UAE, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, tried to get to Cyprus, Turkey. So the entire region is now starting to understand, if not yet, what is Iran, who is Iran, and why this terror regime must go.
Absolutely. Let's widen the lens a little bit to the regional battlefield, as you just started to do. IDF ground forces are now operating in Lebanon. What can you share with us about the status of that front?
As we expected, it would have happened. So we understood that Hezbollah is trying to save the patrons of Iran. But at the end, Hezbollah is being backed by Iran for many, many years. They were established as a proxy against Israel by Iran, and we see that. And also, we understood that they're going to join in at some time, at some point or another. And that is what they did. They're from just a week ago, they started to fire rockets and anti-tank missiles and UAVs into the different communities that are on the border between Israel and Lebanon. And that is why we commenced our frontline defense. We have soldiers that are currently inside southern Lebanon at different dominant locations to stop, to thwart any try of Radwan forces to come into Israel and to stop the anti-tank and, of course, the rockets being flown into the country. This is something that is still going on. As we're speaking now, there are sirens that are being heard in Kiryat Shmona, at the kibbutz of Chanita, and other locations up in the north. So our work is not finished yet. And because we understand, and this is one of the main lessons learned from October 7th, 2023. We have to be very strong on defense, but also very strong on offense. And that is why we're hitting the strategic locations inside Hezbollah command and control centers in an area called the Dahia, which is in the heart of Beirut. And we are continuing to strike each and every Hezbollah operative terrorist that we find in the way that is an imminent threat to the country. So this is something that is still ongoing. This will take time as well, but we're very strong on the defense. We're doing everything possible to stop the firing from the north, from Lebanon.
Yeah, we're always thinking of our soldiers and praying for their success and for their safety, so they could get their work done and come home. Absolutely. One of the things that we're watching right now that's also amazing is to see the regional players. You know, you just mentioned the countries who've been attacked, but to see these regional players now align themselves with Israel and America. Do you believe that a ring of peace could replace what once felt like a noose of fire around Israel as a result of this war as well? Like, what can you tell us about the alliances, maybe the surprising alliances that we're witnessing right now?
So, you know, we have the Abraham Accords that have pretty much brought a very, very vast change to the entire Middle East. These are historical times. And this is an historical time because we see that the main aggressor that was here for more than 40 years, that is the one to harbor, nurture, and take care of terrorist proxies pretty much all over the region. Now his mask is being pulled off. And once you do that, I think everybody in the area close to us, but also around the world, they start to understand what is Iran all about? What have they been doing for the past 40 years? And this is going to bring a great change to the region. Not tomorrow, maybe not in a week, but it will bring a change, and that is what we're doing together with the U.S. Hopefully, other countries will join the Abraham Accords, and will bring quiet to this region that is eager. I can share with you that Israel is eager for some quiet after, especially the so many years that we're at war. Hopefully, this will come as well, but still, there is a way to go. It'll take some time. We still have work to do, unfinished business at the different places that we're operating now, the different theaters. But I hope that at the end, we will see some quiet. I think everybody's so well deserved of it.
100%. It's some people are saying that these are like these last years have been like the birthing pains of what will be like a new life after this is all over. So hopefully that will be the case. You know, October 7th seems that it was the worst strategic mistake that Israel's enemies ever made. But Israel's enemies aren't going down without a fight, and we've just heard, you know, over the last couple of days that the IRGC is now calling on Muslims around the world to rise up against America and against Israel. And this is raising concerns that there could be lone wolf attacks or extremist attacks. And there was, one, I don't know if it's connected, but there was, like a bomb thrown into a group of protesters already in New York. Is this the last ditch effort of a dying entity to strike, or do you feel like this is a true strategy to sort of activate people, supporters that they may have around the world?
We must stay vigilant all the time. Terror has been with us since the birth of this country, since 1948, and even beyond or before the birth of this country. And terror has been hitting around the world for decades now. To say that this will be the final one, I don't know. It's a too big a question for me to answer. I do know that we call upon everybody to stay vigilant, to stay aware of your surroundings, and to understand that maybe quiet will come, not yet. We still see everything that's going on here and also abroad. But I have my, I believe in the different law enforcement agencies and other counterparts that we're working in the security world, that they will thwart, stop, and at the end take out any imminent threat on anyone around the world. But, as civilians, stay vigilant, stay aware of your surroundings, and hopefully this will come to an end as well, but you never know.
Right. Well, hopefully, when Iran is dismantled and its leadership is gone and its financing is gone, it will also weaken the global terror networks. Let's talk for a moment about the media battlefield, because it has been just as intense. We've seen certain news outlets, major news outlets, choose not to report certain developments, like, the Iranian missile infrastructure being targeted, or Iranian civilians supporting Israel and supporting America and its leaders. From your vantage point inside the spokesperson's unit, how deliberate is that pattern, and how does the IDF work to get the full story out?
We have a lot of cooperation, and we do a lot of work with different reporters from all kinds of media outlets from all around the world. There are a lot of them now here in Israel that are covering the stories that are happening here. A lot of briefings, a lot of information that we put out and we give out to the different reporters. But at the end of the day, it's very important to continue speaking and giving the information to the reporters, and to understand where we collect the news. As you, a news collector, where do you get your news from? Which group or which newspaper or which television station you watch and see. But at the end, you also have to get your information also from the governmental platforms or the IDF platforms, if you want to get an understanding of the whole picture and not just one side of the story, like a lot of the news outlets will give you, because then they're looking to make news, and not all the time they give you the whole. They don't have enough time to give you all aspects of the story. So you as a consumer, you can decide on from where you get that information. And if you get your information just from one outlet, then you're missing a lot of pieces. That's why if you want to get a 360 of pretty much everything, you got to connect to governmental outlets, if it's CENTCOM outlets or platforms, or Israeli platforms like the IDF platforms that we have, or MFA platforms. So then you can get pretty much the entire story, and then you can make your own decisions for yourself.
What do you feel is the biggest misconception that you're having to face or to come up against in the international media right now?
There is a lot. This is an information war, and it's been an information war pretty much since October 7th. We've even seen an uprise of a lot of fake news and fake information that is put out. Or it's very important, for news outlets to be the first ones to put the information out, to put the story out. True or false, they don't care. They're not
Right.
checking. They're not making sure that if it's right or not. And IDF, I'm not a news outlet. Speed is not something that I'm into because I need to check the facts. I need to check the story. I need to speak to the commanders, sometimes even the soldiers, to understand what had happened. And only then I can come out and say, okay, 1, 2, 3, this is what had happened. This is right. This is wrong. Or these are the facts. And it's an issue because a lot of these people, a lot of these reporters are just running out with stories, not checking, not verifying. And then it's a great challenge for us to come in to debunk it.
Right.
So that's a major issue. That's a great challenge. And if you bring in the newest tools that you see with AI, you can pretty much fabricate a lot of the news. You can make your own news. You can make your own story, true or false. It doesn't matter because once it's out, that's a major issue. It is something that we're dealing with. A lot of the fake news, a lot of the fake stories, terrible information that we see running around. We do whatever we can in order to put the facts out, to put the IDF stand on a lot of the things. This is a continuous mission. This is not something that, by the way, will end, even if this campaign will end tomorrow morning. We have to stay vigilant on it and to work in it. And that is what the amazing people here at the IDF spokespersons unit are doing day and night for years now.
And they do a great job. I want to plug their work because I'm on their social media and it's fantastic. So kol hakavod, and everybody, if you're not following yet, please go follow. You were talking about the media war and the misinformation, and it has just been so rampant. For 2.5 years, our soldiers have been demonized and isolated. And so it's been refreshing to now see Iranians from around the world showing their love and their support and their gratitude to the IDF. What does it mean for our soldiers? What does it mean from the soldiers' point of view to see the Bibi June go viral, to see Israeli consulates flooded with flowers from Iranian communities? All of these are just ways of thanking Israel and especially the IDF for doing what they're doing. Is that after 2 years of just receiving the hate, what does it mean for the soldiers to now see this outpouring of love and gratitude?
So really, it's amazing to see everything that's going on around. But right now, our soldiers and the IDF is focused on our mission. The mission right now is the 3 goals that we have in Iran. It's to defend the amazing border on the north, to make sure that nobody gets hit or injured on that border. So we are currently mission focused on this, but I promise that once we will be able to share all of that with the other soldiers. I'll be the first ones to bring it in. We see it. It's amazing. But right now, mission focused, we have this to deal with. And hopefully once we'll finish, we'll have time also to understand or accumulate the love and the amazing images that we see coming from all over the world. But right now, mission focused.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. I can now sort of predict what you're going to say about my next question, but because it's along the same lines. I was just wondering, how the soldiers felt if they were following when the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, called Israel a breath of fresh air and a force multiplier, even praising the Israeli Air Force as the best in the world alongside itself, the United States. I just wondered, what does hearing that proclamation, that validation on the global stage do for the morale of the Israeli forces? And also strategically, what does that message send to Israel's enemies?
Morale in the army and the Israel Defense Forces is very high. And one of the things that we see is with our American counterparts, with the U.S. Armed Forces, this is brotherhood. This is brotherhood because we share the same values. And we're so almost alike with our American soldiers. So at the end of the day, this is unbelievable. This is unprecedented. And we see just what does the brotherhood mean between the U.S. and Israel, especially in militarily wise. And, you know, we're with them, they're with us. We're literally almost flying wing to wing, which is unbelievable. And this is exactly what you'd expect from an amazing cooperation and friendship, but mostly the values that march us both militaries together.
Yeah, it's been just so inspiring, truly inspiring. And
Absolutely.
I don't have enough superlatives for the, the way that it feels to see this unfolding, and the way that it has unfolded has just been incredible. Looking ahead, right now we've been seeing, or we heard that the chief of staff said that Israel still has some, quote, surprising moves in reserve. Don't worry, I'm not asking you what the surprises are. But I, but I am asking, what effect, making a statement like that has. What do you think his intention was in sort of indicating that?
Well, I cannot speak for the General Chief of Staff, but I will say on a personal note that surprise is a key element in military. And you need to use surprise in order to gain victory and to defeat your enemies. And I think the past 2 years, from where we were on October 7th that morning to where we are, and all of the things that had happened in between, and you haven't seen half of it yet. So therefore, it is important and it is strategic for us to continue on thinking or living outside of the box. Very important if we want to stay relevant, if we want to surprise our enemies, and to stay monitoring on all situations. Again, this hasn't finished yet. We're not done yet. Still got ways to go. So that's why you still have to carry with you a lot of these surprises or other ways of thinking in order to get to victory and at the end to decide the war.
How will you know when we're done? You said we're not done yet. What, from a military perspective, what conditions would need to be achieved for Israel to say that the mission against Iran is complete?
So first of all, the ones that will decide mission complete will be government. Government has to decide once we bring in the information that we stood all three goals that we're speaking of again and again: the nuclear program, ballistic missiles, proxy. So once we hit all three of those, the government echelon, they're supposed to give the all clear or mission accomplished. So that is up to them. As military, we will always stand strong to protect and to overlook and to make sure that Israel stays safe for years and years, eternity.
Amen. Final question. I just wanted to ask for
Please.
everyone who's watching today. We friends of the IDF, and we are so proud, and we love our soldiers. We wish we could like jump through the screen and hug you right now, and all of the soldiers. What do you want them to know about why it's important to continue to stand by the soldiers? The soldiers are fatigued, but they keep going, and there's a certain fatigue also here. But what would you say to them? To empower them to continue to stand by the soldiers and continue to defend what Israel is doing, especially now.
I've said it in one of the talks that I had with FIDF. I said that you are the air beneath the wings of the planes, and I think it is crucial. I'll share with you a little story, okay? A
Please.
little something from the field. There are a lot of care packages that soldiers get. And I don't know if you've ever been in the field for, let's say, 9 days, very chaotic around you. And all of a sudden you get this care package and you see it's from the FIDF. And you know the people that are standing behind you. Sometimes these packages also have a little note from somebody that actually packed it. It could be a little kid, it could be someone on the other side. That is the fuel for the soldiers, to get that, to know that you are thinking about us right now, and you're all the way on the other side of the ocean, but you're with us, and you are part, literally, you are part of the Israeli heartbeat. And it is so important today, especially today, that we stay united together. And we understand that once we are united, we're an unbreakable force. You cannot break us when we're all strong together. With your support, with your love that we feel here. And I'm telling you this because I've seen the soldiers. I know what FIDF is doing. So important, so crucial. You are part of this mission, a crucial link in this chain of the mission that moved this mission forward is FIDF. I want to thank each and every one of you. You said you're going to jump. I would like to jump there and hug you. But thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Your support is felt here. We love it. We love you. And hopefully, very, very soon, you will be coming and visiting us here in Israel. You see, it's a beautiful day outside right now. You'll love it. So hopefully soon, we will get together again, and then we can do the actual hugging as well.
Easy Yofi. I know we're all looking forward to it and lining up for the hugs. Thank you so much, Major Liad, for being with
Thank
us.
you.
And thank you for the incredible work that you're doing day in and day out to share Israel's story on the global stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Friends at home, the root of evil, the mastermind of terror, the linchpin of worldwide chaos is being confronted and dismantled. As it flails to save itself, we are reminded of just how critical this moment is. If Israel and the United States had not acted now, this opportunity for good to triumph might have passed. So if you want to express the eternal gratitude we all feel, stand with the soldiers who are standing for all of us. You can learn more about how FIDF is already deployed in Israel right now, providing emergency medical equipment, financial aid for the tens of thousands of reservists called up, and ensuring the mental readiness of Israel's defenders at FIDF.org/roar. May our enemies around the world fail, and may God bless and protect the defenders of Israel. May they achieve swift victory and complete success. Am Yisrael Chai.